Hi there, I'm Cheryl. I'm going to show you how I made this Mother's Day card today, and it's a gatefold with a gate on the front. And I just made this one, so it has a little thing here on the back to stand up, but I'm going to show an optional way if you want to enclose a little sentiment, so that you have a card that will open like this, and then it will open this way also and have a sentiment inside. So two options on this card. So this is what we're going to need. We need a piece of basic black cardstock, and you'll need a piece about 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and we'll be cutting this gate from there. And I got this gate die cut from, or this cutting die on Amazon, and that will be down the link below where to get that. So we've got the gate. Then I also have a piece of Wisteria Wonder, and this is 4x4. I think it's a 4x4. Yes, it's a 4x4 piece, and that will be adhering the gate to that. Another little piece here that I cut my Happy Mother's Day sentiment out. I've done a lot of prep work on this. And then this is a piece that's 3.5 by 5.5, and then it's scored at 2 3/4. So that will be our little stand for the back if you're going to use that option. If you want to do the other option, then you'll need a piece of Whisper White that's 5.5 by 8.5, and then scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then you'll also want to put a piece of Whisper White on the inside here to stamp your sentiment and sign the card. So, and that's cut at what is it cut at? That's cut at how big did I make this card? Oh, I made this card bigger. Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness. So this is 6 by 9.5, and it's scored at 4 3/4. And then the piece of Whisper White on the inside is 4 1/4 by 5.5. So it's a bigger than A2 size card. Okay. Then I have this piece of basic black. That's for our mat on the front, and this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And another piece of the Wisteria Wonder, and this is 4 3/4 by 6. I have another piece of Whisper White that I have embossed using the, let's see, what is this called? Layered Leaves Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. And this is sold on the Stampin' Up website. So I've already got that embossed. I have another little bit here from the Spellbinders. This is the Fancy Label Tags 4, and I used the biggest die in here. Let me get these out. I'll show you. And slide these out. So I cut the black piece from the biggest one here, and the tag that I used here, the Happy Mother's Day, that was from the next size down one. And then there's a little tiny one too. This does a cute little embellishment, but we're not using that one today. And then I have a piece of ivy that I cut. Now, if you don't have this ivy die cut, then you could use any kind of leaf spray that you have and cut that out. And that I cut from Pear Pizzaz, and that's this took a piece that's about 5.5 by 1.25. So this I got, let's see, yeah, I got this on AliExpress. It does take a while to get to you, but they're cutting dies and things are very cheap. I have a marker here. I have my designer's dry clear glue. I have scissors. I'm going to cheat on my flowers and use pre-made little paper rose flowers. These are such a pretty rosy red color, which might seem odd to use with the Wisteria Wonder colors, but it just needed a pop of something on it. So I chose these. I'm using Wisteria Wonder ink, Lemon Lime Twist ink. I've got some makeup sponges here that I'll be using for sponging, and I have my Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's get going on this. I need to have my gate. We're going to do that first. My gate and a piece of Wisteria Wonder. And I'm going to just line that up on my Wisteria Wonder. And with my marker, all along the top here of the gate, wherever I can make a mark along that top bar of the gate, I'm going to just make a mark with my marker. And all the way across here. And we're going to be cutting this off, so that's why I'm not using a pencil. I'm using the marker because it's easier to see. And so now I have this mark here and I can cut. I'm going to cut just inside of that. I'm going to trim that off where I marked it with the marker. And we'll check it with our gate because we don't want any of that Wisteria Wonder showing on the top. And that looks good. If I needed to, I could trim a little bit extra off. And with the Dries clear glue, I'm going to glue my gate to this piece. And you want to take a special care with this 1/2 inch section on each side. You want to make sure that you get that glued down real well, because we're going to be, once this glue has dried, that's a little bit of a puddle there, I'm going to spread that out some. Once this glue has dried, we're going to be scoring through both the gate and the cardstock it's attached to. So you want to make sure that you get that part especially glued down really well. You don't want that popping off. Okay, so that's good there. I can go kind of sketchy in the center part here. And just put enough, just glue enough down. And then we want to make sure that the center here is glued down, because we're going to be cutting that apart there. Okay, we're almost done here. I know, this is so exciting to watch, isn't it? With things like this, I'm really glad I have this little bottle with a very, very fine tip on it. For large areas, it's not as wonderful, but for these little bitty things I want to do, it works really good. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I'm going to line that up. My Wisteria Wonder here. Make sure that's all adhered down really well. Then I'm going to put this aside for the moment so that it has time to dry, and I'm going to actually put it over here. I'm going to place a block on top of it. Just make sure that everything's making good contact there. And I'll go on to this part. This is the piece of Whisper White that's been embossed with the layering leaves. And we're going to do some sponging on this. And it's always start out light, and just in areas I'm going to just try to hit just the top, just the high areas. And so we're going to do all of it with the Wisteria Wonder, but just sections, because then we're going to go in the spots that we did not hit with the Wisteria Wonder, and we're going to use the lemon lime twist. Okay, that looks pretty good. Close that up, put that aside, and get the lemon lime twist going here. See, so now I'm going in the spots that I did not have the Wisteria Wonder. You want to avoid overlapping them, because the lemon lime and the Wisteria Wonder blended together is not going to make a very pretty color. Okay, so that's done. And you see, it's just a light shading on there, and it really pops those leaves out so we can see them really well. So we've got that piece done, and we can start to assemble the back part of the card here, and we'll work up to the gates. And when we get to the gates, then I'll show you how I cut those out and scored them and attached them. Get them out of the way and clean my table up so we don't get those colors places we don't want them. Okay, now we need to bring in our piece of Wisteria Wonder. We have our basic black, and then we have this little panel that we just embellished or enhanced. So let me put some glue on the back here. I'm using glue, and that one's not going. That's not coming out. Let me get my Tombow. Here we go. I don't know why I didn't reach for that Tombow anyway. Probably because it was just a little bit further away, and I really am a lazy crafter. I like to keep everything within arm's reach that I can. So we'll adhere that down, centering it. We'll adhere this down onto the Wisteria Wonder. Center that. Okay, now if you want it to have it so it just stands up like this, and all it says is Happy Mother's Day inside the gates here, then we'll use this piece that's been scored. That's the 3.5 by 5.5 that's scored at 2 3/4, and we'll just line that up just like this on the back and glue that down, and then our card will stand up. Okay, but if you want to make it, I'm gonna do this card totally with the opening one. So Let's see. Okay, so that's opening the right way. And we'll put the glue on the back of this piece. And then just, that will cover the entire card front. That adds a little extra oomph to our card. It makes it a little sturdier. Okay, so far this is what we have. And I've just put this down with one of those with the repositionable tape for now, because I haven't decided what sentiment I would like to have in here. Okay, so we're all ready to start putting the rest of this together. Let me bring my gates back in here, and I'm going to score approximately 1/4 inch from the edge on each side of this gate here. So on the back side, where the Whisper White is, use my ruler and go right along the ruler. Okay, so there's one side. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And now we can fold these. And you don't need to do a real sharp crease on those. Fold those on that score line. And this is why we wanted to glue this really well, because we didn't want that detaching. And right down the center of the gate. On this gate, there's actually is a cut line down the middle there. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces. Use my glue. And I'll adhere this side right to the edge of the card. Okay. On that side. And I'll do the same on this side. And glue that right to the edge here. Or not to the edge of the card, but to the edge of this piece of Whisper White. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't confuse you there. And so now our gate meets up in the middle, and it's glued down on the edges. And I'm going to grab that block again. We'll put that right on top here while we're working on putting the roses down. Now what I did was I took my little roses and took them in a cluster here. Did I mention I have wire cutters here? I had them laying out, but I don't know if I actually said I had wire cutters. So I'm going to just twist those into a little bundle here, and I'm going to trim off this excess wire. Okay, so I have just a little thing here. I'm going to carefully bend that down so I don't poke my fingers. And I'm going to cut my ivy in half because it's just a little bit long for the card. So now I have 2 pieces of ivy. And again, if you don't have this and you have other leaves, those will work perfectly well. Okay, so now I'm going to have that. I want that to come just above our gate here. And these are going to overlap in the center. And some glue on these leaves. And I'll put that kind of draping the other direction here. And if they extend a little bit outside of your white and your little black border there, that's fine, just as long as it's inside the card. And put a nice glob of glue on the back of these roses, and then put them right here on my ivy. I'm going to have them off. I'm not going to have them perfectly centered. I don't want them perfectly centered because I want it to look a little, I don't know, a little off center. Alright, so now our glue is pretty well set on here. We'll open this, put our glue on here on this piece, and this is another one that is very delicate and dainty. So I'm just going to hit. I'm hitting mostly just the high areas. Take that and put that inside here. I want to center that between my gates. So this will be hidden when the card is closed, so it'll be a nice little surprise. So if you've been liking this video, be sure you hit the like button down below. If you have any questions or comments, then you could leave those down there too. And I'm pretty good about getting back to people. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. That will have my videos show up in your up on that on the right hand side there, you know, that column on YouTube. And if there are any Stampin' Up! Products that I've used today that you'd like to purchase, I'd be thrilled if you used me as your demonstrator. So you can do that either through my Facebook page or my blog, and that will be listed down below, as well as all of the tools and the materials that I used here. So I hope you've enjoyed this card. We'll have to work on a sentiment. You know, if you don't have a stamp that has a sentiment that you like, then make up something of your own. Use Word. There's all kinds of fonts on Word and sizes you can make it, and print it out on a printer, and then use that on the inside. So y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.